All right. What up? I'm going to develop some more film. So I thought I'd make another video on the process of that. And, excuse me. Turn that off. Sure, everything else turned off. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And when I actually show you as far as like, I'm going to sacrifice this piece of film right here, which is fine. I've got like 4 more. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing when I'm putting it in the dark bag, because you can't see that part, obviously, because this exposed roll of film could not have any light or it's going to ruin it. And I'll do 35 millimeter too, because I have 2 things, black and white, and a ton of developer. So, yeah, let's get on it. Put this on here, because I probably should have done this at the very beginning, but oh well. Stick this like that. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. Turn this back on. All right, now we're recording on everything. So with 120 film, this is Ilford 400. It's pretty basic film. What you're gonna do, because all this is separate. So everything as far as the canister, this is what holds the reel in place. And this is how the developer gets in when everything is put together at once. So all this is in the dark bag, but you got to feel for it. You got to know what you're doing. This can be adjusted as far as for 35 millimeter film like this, smaller, or you can do what I'm gonna do and have it adjusted for 120 film. Now, the biggest key and why this is so hard whenever you're doing this just inside the dark bag here is because you got to line it up. I'm going to try to get this with these little notches. I know that's kind of hard to see. You can probably see right there. These little notches. You got to slide the film in here because this is your starter. And then there's little points here that grab a hold of the film. So once all that's in there, then you can just start winding it like this. Now you gotta be careful, because in a perfect world, it just winds straight through and nothing like problematic happens, but that's not always the case. So I'll show you. I'm sure that there's gonna be somebody that shoots film that's like, don't waste the film. Well, it's for science and instructional. If I could cut it, the film don't want to cooperate. Oh my Lanta. Okay. My gosh. So standard film is going to come like this. Move this out of the way so I don't get them mixed up. It's going to say underexposed. That means it's not been shot. So generally when it's this way or whatever, when you start peeling back, the film is going to be inside because it actually has a layer of paper that's around it, at least for the 120. You see this is paper, so when loading it into an actual camera, you'd roll it around like this. It'd be backwards. Let's see here. Yeah, so you'd imagine it'd be rolled around and rolled into like this. And then you'd have a little arrow part that, okay, stop here. So when you roll up your film and you advance it, it actually allows you to be able to get the right marker. Because the more we pull out on this, here's the film, and we're ruining it. In front of God and country, all this Now exposed film, yay. And if you try to develop this now, it would just be solid white. Like there, it's all ruined. So you're feeling for this in that bag, and I mean, you got this tape and stuff. So I generally just rip that off, and then you gotta have a pair of scissors that you're gonna come in, and I gotta place this where you see, you're gonna cut that off. And then some people, if they can, they like to cut the edges off because it kind of makes it easier. I've had mixed things with that, but if you come in, like right there, I don't know the best way. So now we got it fed through, and now it's there. And you just reel it. And here's the problem with that, it's gonna wanna keep spooling, and that can cause some problems. And of course, since I'm doing this right now, everything's gonna work perfectly, but the moment I get that other one in here, it's gonna wanna be a little jerk. So you spool that on. I sometimes like to, and this is what I'm talking about, if you're not careful, it'll get kinked. I kind of like to take my pinky so it kind of acts as the feeder for that, so it's not trying to roll up on itself. But yeah, and then after you get so far, it kind of just falls in place. Yeah, so that worked out perfectly. So we have one roll of 120 film ready to go. So after you get it on here like this, you're gonna put it right here. You're gonna put it, the holder there, and then on the inside, there's a little notch. You can kindly see that in the reflection, and that's just gonna sit down perfectly in there. Now, after you put this on, this goes inside. You see the hole right there, it just goes in, snaps on. And now we're safe to put developer in it. They make an agitation tool, because what's gonna happen now, here in a minute, once I actually get the real film put on, they make an agitator, because with the chemicals that we're gonna be using, you're either gonna have to keep moving it around, or depending on the timing that you wanna do, is gonna dictate how much you mess with it, that and temperature and stuff. So, yeah, they make a little tool for that goes in there that you can mix around. I just like moving it personally. That's easier for me. So I'm gonna get all of this unwound now that you've seen the process of what I'm doing in the bag. I'm not gonna make you watch me do it in the bag because that's gonna be boring. But yeah, so now we've got this out, and now see y'all here once I get it in there getting ready to get developed. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm glutton for punishment, I guess, because this is actually going to be kind of interesting to see this process. So everything's in here. And I've already got to the point to where all the tape is like, it's all unspooled and stuff. So now I'm about to cut the film. You can hear. And you gotta be careful doing this, because obviously you can't see. I've done this enough that, like, I just cut the tape off the film. See if I can cut the edges off just to help it feed in a little bit better. I'm sure my face looks awesome right now. Okay, so I've got that done. Now I need to find my reel. And the biggest problem for me, I'm gonna move that out of the way because that's gonna drive me nuts. The biggest problem for me, which you'd think it'd be easy, but it's getting the notches lined up and knowing that you're on the right side. when loading the film, just because there have been times where I've tried to load it in backwards, and obviously that does not work. Which, is it in? Did I get it? All right. Now, if I can just do this and it not crinkle and bunch up on me. Because another thing that no one really talks about, like as you're doing this and you're feeling and stuff around, like especially if you're doing this in like a dark room, I could see where it wouldn't be a concern, but doing it in one of these like dark bags and stuff, like your hands, I mean, obviously they're in a confined space, but condensation and just like sweat from your hands, dealing with this film as you're trying to spool it, does play a factor because it can make the film start to stick and act weird. I know that saying that out loud, like you'd have to do it and you'd understand what I'm saying, but come on, we're almost there. Maybe. Or maybe not. And this is the whole reason why I did not want to film this part, because now, yeah. I'm going to have to start all over again. It's a tedious process. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. I'm just impatient, and I can develop a roll of film in less than, well, if everything goes well, in less than 30 minutes. Generally speaking. Make sure, yeah. But it's just this part right here. It's just loading it, which can be the biggest pain on the face of the planet. As you can already tell from my excitement and joys of just doing this. Oh my gosh, I actually got it that time. Success! Okay. And I put everything combined in there. There's my spool. Whoop. Put that there. I'm gonna put it right here in this tank. Yep. And then I'm gonna put that in. All right. Ugh. I feel like I'm a magician about to pull a rabbit out of a hat or something. All right. Film is in there. We did not cut ourselves. There's the end of the tape that we cut. The paper. And for 120 film, you want to always save this little thing, because it always takes two. One that has the film on it, and then one that the film's going to go on. It transfers it, so always remember that. All right, now we're going to go develop it. See you here in a second. Okay, so what we have here is my glorified film developing space. And this, don't mind the lovely packaging that it came in that destroyed the label. It still works. I'm using DF96 black and white developer. I got creative and bought a mop bucket because it fits this perfectly. And this is practically, it'll turn on, I gotta hold it for a second. There we go. This is a glorified like sous vide, except for film, because we'll do that. So we're at 74 degrees. I've got a ton of this stuff because I do a lot of black and white. So for constant agitation, you got to do it it's got to be at 80 degrees. for 70 degrees, 75 degrees, intermittent, so agitate, stop, 4 minutes, and so on and so forth. The different temperatures and the different times and the different ways that you agitate will have a different effect on the film that they call pushing and pulling. Whoop. Didn't mean to do that. So the next step is letting this get the temperature, and then that's when we're going to add it and start developing it, which will be the constant 3-minute agitation, maybe 3.5. You're supposed to add time for as many rolls of film as you've developed, and I think I've developed 3 or 4 rolls of film. So, if anybody wants to, there's Havoc. Say hi, Havoc. Say hi. You're now the star of the show, not me. All right, go back and say it. All right. So, we have been letting our developer, that sounds lovely. Been letting our developer like warm to 80 degrees. So if I turn that off, we don't need that anymore. So what we're gonna do here is, I know you're probably not gonna be, well, you'll be able to see a little bit. I'll take this, I just wanna make sure that it's all equally, because I mean, a temperature difference will make a difference when developing your film. Like, you wanna make sure that everything is as it should be. All right. And we're just gonna dump it in. And I just make sure that there's enough for that. And we gotta put this top one, you wanna make sure that's really good. And then we're gonna, no. Okay, got a timer on it. So by agitation, it means like this, just constantly moving it around. Which I'm doing 3 minutes and 45 seconds, just to add for the time that, of all the other times that I've used the film developer, because I want to make sure everything gets developed properly. I will probably speed up through this section because it's just going to be me doing this for about 4 minutes, and that's going to get real boring real quick because I'm already real bored of hearing me talk. So another thing I've thought too, if you're going to do this, you really need to, and I'm speaking to myself, you really need to mark how many, like get a marker or something, or mark on the bottle or the container how many times you use that developer to develop that amount of film. Because if you are not, like I think you can develop up to 16 times. Again, you got to keep adding time for each time you use to develop with the developer, because each time it loses a little bit of its effectiveness. So you got to keep that into account. But you would hate to, I don't know, take something really cool, like you're out, see something amazing, take a shot of it, and then once you got it, and you started to go to develop it or whatever, you'd use the developer too much and it didn't develop at all or correctly. I've done that. I'm speaking from experience, and it sucks. Also, know that there are different types of film. You have your black and white monochrome film, which every monochrome film that I've ever used, the DF96 Monobath, which is a fixer developer and all that. It works perfectly. Like, you don't need another one for black and white. Or if you've got color film comes in 2 varieties. It either comes as in a, like your normal Fujifilm or like Kodak snap cameras that you get, that's C41. They make a 2-step developer for that. But if you get slide film or Ektachrome, or whatever they want to call it, and you try to develop it with C41, will not work. Don't do it. Do not recommend. I lost a whole roll of something really important because I didn't realize that and I didn't read. So always read what kind, because the film will say if it's C41 or I think E6 is the slide film developer kind. Hey, we're done. Okay, so now we're going to pop this back open and we are immediately going to, yeah, look at that. Don't that look great? Oh, that just looks like a urine test. Awesome. Sweet. And we pour it back in here because we reuse it. One thing I also forgot to kindly... What? I heard we're done. We're done. It means I can turn you off. Okay, that's done. You want to... I have before in the past, but you can pre-warm your film, meaning that you can already take just normal water. A lot of people like to use distilled water, not just sink water, depending on because the minerals and stuff or whatever treatment they add to the water can also mess with your film. I use mine. I've never had an issue doing that, so there you go. So you want to wash it. I know you'd want to take it out real quick and look at it to see if you got pictures on it or not. But just let it rinse for a little bit. But you want to make sure that you get it as close to the developer temperature as possible. So developer was 80 degrees. I'm going to feel to see if I can get this as close to lukewarm. Doesn't help that it's like an Arctic tundra outside and all the water's cold. So this might take a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it feels good. And I'm just gonna let that sit and run for probably, I don't know, a minute. So it's 11:48. Now 11:49 now. I'll just say 11:50. You're gonna see me very up close and personal for a minute, so you can see this too. All right. That has been rinsed out. So, and this would be terrible if this wasn't the case. I did all this and nothing beyond this. I messed it up somehow. I highly doubt that will happen though. Nope, we got photos. We got pictures. Again, we got our reel here. And I got it super zoomed in. Okay, yep. So, as you can see, right there, we got photos. What was that? Some landscapes I did, family, and then me just taking random photos at the camera store. I'm actually gonna wash this a little bit more. I don't like how that feels. Do-do-do-do. All right. Alrighty, and now you've got to hang it. Oh shoot! This is a film holder hanger, and which film is super slippery. Yeet! Woohoo! Exactly. You gotta squeegee it too. But it doesn't help when this thing is like slicker than snot. Ugh. Go up. Because now, yeah, you got your photos developed and everything, which is exciting and fun. But this part right here, depending on how you take care of your film and stuff, which you really need to do this in a dry, dust-free environment, but I'm in a house, so there's that. You gotta let this dry, and then after it's dry, you want to inspect it to make sure, like, don't have any water spots or dust or anything. I mean, there's some things that you can't help, but there's also things that you can take care of after the fact, like in Lightroom and all that stuff. So yeah, we developed a thing of film together. So the whole scanning process is something completely different. I might make a video about it if everybody liked this video, but if you stuck around for the entirety of it, I appreciate it. Thank you. Hope everybody has a wonderful new year.